I've been using the Asus ROG Ally X for about a week now, and something I really haven't seen mentioned about the Ally X is really its build quality, which might be a bit better than its competitors in my opinion. I feel like this thing is a tank in my hand in weight, but also durability. It's so compact. You might notice that like there's not a whole lot of grips here. Like it's not very deep. It doesn't seem like it has the best ergonomics, but something about it, I never get hand cramps while playing on the ROG Ally. But I do get a lot of hand cramps while playing on the Steam Deck, and I think it's due to the Steam Deck being a bit taller where you're holding it, whereas the ROG, you can go ahead and have the offsetting joysticks, but I'm not using my pinky as a weight distribution, so I'm not helping raise my device anymore using my pinkies. And I think that's actually leading to less hand fatigue. I can literally game on this thing for hours. The battery life on the ROG Ally is insane. I'm getting consistently over 2.5, 3 hours of playtime. I'm not playing Cyberpunk or anything like for 3 hours straight on this thing, so I didn't test that, but I'm playing a variety of games. I'm going from something like Cyberpunk to Balatro to Nier Automata, and I'm still getting about 3 hours of game time. If I could bring this device on a plane and just have to charge it one time, I'm chilling. That's a device I want to use. Another part that I don't feel like a lot of people are talking about are the buttons. The buttons are a bit louder than the Steam Deck OLEDs. I feel like the buttons are a bit more sturdy than the Steam Deck OLEDs. There's a bit less wobble or movement. The D-pad or whatever this thing is, it also is pretty sturdy. The whole build of this device is really sturdy. I also like it was only 2 back buttons. I'm not really someone who utilizes all 4 back buttons, so A and B, I'm cool. Also, this device has 2 USB ports. Like I said, I was able to hop into a Discord chat, play Call of Duty with my friends while charging my device and with my Bluetooth connected headset. That's just something I didn't think was even possible. That's next level. I was literally on the couch playing Call of Duty with a headset on, and I was still getting about 60 frames per second. But yeah, there's a lot to like about the Ally X. I like to have the freedom to play what I want to play. And for the most part, I've generally liked the Windows experience. Sure, there's a few hiccups, but for the most part, it works as intended. And honestly, it wasn't as bad as I was told or really anticipated. I like that you can play this thing for hours on end without worrying if I'm gonna run out of battery. Oh, and one last thing, the speakers absolutely slap on this thing. At least from like a average consumer's perspective. I'm not like some sort of audiophile, but for me, they sound pretty good. For everything great about Windows, it does get a little clunky sometimes. And one of my biggest complaints about it is the controls mode. This is where the Ally X determines automatically if you should be in desktop mode or gamepad mode. Gamepad mode is just like you're playing on a controller, like you'd be on like a PlayStation or Xbox, where desktop mode is literally using the joysticks as a cursor. Now, I don't really have an issue with the desktop mode or the gamepad mode. I feel like 30% of the time it gets it correct. 70% of the time, it's incorrect, and sometimes it's really annoying, especially when it's an $800 device and you still have some of these little hiccups. I do have to give Asus a little bit of credit here. They have done a great job of trying to mitigate the use of Windows. Like, you do have to use Windows a lot, especially during the initial setup, but once you get that setup done, it does start acting a bit better when you're using their apps like Armory Crate to access your games or your launchers. You still need to use Windows to install those launchers, install those games, also to go into the settings and do more of the fine tuning of your device. And after you do a bit of fine tuning, you can start using these top buttons, and basically allows you to automatically open Armory Crate. It has a little settings mode where you can go ahead and have some hotkeys to like dim your brightness or connect a different device, change it from like 120 hertz to 60 hertz. You can even downscale your resolution on there. So Asus really has done a great job of trying to mitigate the use of Windows on this device, probably because a lot of people will be buying this just primarily to game and not maybe put it on a monitor or use it as a secondary PC. That's just kind of like the plus things to getting the ROG Ally versus something like the Steam Deck. But I have to say, they've kind of made it easy mode, and I like that. This really does feel like a PC away from my desk. And if you're comfortable or like you game on PC a lot, or you have in the past, or even like an Xbox, the Asus might be right up your alley. Most of my issues with the ROG Ally really happened in the first few days, and then things just started to settle down and just work. But my God, during those first few days, I had more crashes on this thing than the entire 2.5 years I've had my Steam Deck. But I also noticed I was using the ROG Ally as like a media device more than I was using the Steam Deck. So I downloaded YouTube TV or YouTube, started watching some things on here, was watching a little bit of the NFL, but a bigger display would also make media consumption just that much better. One thing I've noticed since getting an Ally X is that when I'm reaching for a gaming handheld, Steam Deck and the Ally X right there, I tend to grab the Ally X, which is a big deal. It's the device that I want to play on, but I feel like for some reason the Steam Deck is still the one that I think about, the one that I refer to in public, the one that people know is the Steam Deck and the Nintendo Switch. No one knows what ROG is, Republic of Gamers. Like, what the hell is that? The Ally X versus the Ally. Proper naming conventions need to be invented. The Ally X is the device that I go to more often than not in the past week. It's the device that can play the games that I really want to play. And even things like suspending my game have started to work on the Ally X. So right now, I really like it. And I can say with confidence, as someone who plays games on PC, on Xbox, across multiple platforms, this is one of the best ecosystem companion devices ever invented. You can literally take your PC with you anywhere. Going on a trip, don't worry, you can still play online once you hit Wi-Fi or even play them offline. You could watch sports, you could watch your TV shows, you could read a book. Like I said, you can pretty much do anything on this device. So if you're someone who even has the slightest bit of intrigue or even think I fit into one of these categories or maybe I'll like to tinker with my device just a little bit, but honestly, I don't think you'll regret getting an Ally X. Maybe you will just when you see that price tag, because that price tag is high. All right, I'll talk to you in the next one.